dad is going through it. Sorry, I can't find it. Actually, let me see. I'm a not yet. I don't even need to find it. Okay, man. Cool. Really? All right. All right. Is it this? All right. So anyway, so this video is about Diddy and supposedly some of the NDAs. So a lot of people who haven't spoke about Diddy, number one, I will say, and actually before I play that, let me play this Dame Dash thing, because I agree with him. He says, why aren't some of the celebrities who are being accused of either attending a Diddy freak off or being in there, why aren't they just speaking out? Like, shit, I ain't gonna lie, even Meek Mill is like, dude, people have just mentioned your name too much. Could you just speak directly to it? If anything, Meek seems to be more mad that his name is connected to Diddy than actually clarifying if he did anything around Diddy, or if Diddy ever did anything around him, or if he's been to a freak off. So this is why it continues, and Dame Dash makes a valid point. Listen to this.
But I just wish, to be honest, that the people that are being accused of certain things, they should just step up and be like, yo, they bugging. You know what I mean? Just dead that shit. This is a very transparent place and world in these days. It's very easy to say that's not true. I wasn't at that party. I didn't do what they said I did. And, I remember when I would ask Jay, yo, well, how come they keep saying we beefing? And how come you don't say nothing about it? He'd be like, oh, I don't want to bring no fuel to it. Nah, that brought all the fuel to it. So being silent is sometimes the loudest thing in the world. So I believe if the things aren't true, because I hear the stuff that Jaguar says, and she be on 10 toes down, not allegedly. And I've been sued for not saying allegedly. That's why I got this problem I have now with this judgment. I have been sued for not saying allegedly. So the things she's saying, and she'd be like, no allegedly, no Diddy pause, or they be like, no allegedly. I would think that they could shut that down. So I'm curious. Now, I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm saying, yo, well, how come when I say the littlest shit, I got sued again by that, again, I don't want to get sued, right? Because they take anything. But Josh Weber, the dude that's pretending he directed a movie I directed based on my personal account, sued me in LA again for $4 million for a interview I did with Earn Your Leisure where I didn't even say his name. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful. So I know, you can get sued for nothing. So I'm like, yo, how come nobody's suing these people? Why won't they just say nah? I'm not calling out no names, but we all know that the shit they saying is.
I agree with Dame, but I believe I said it before, right? I 100% believe that the reason why a lot of these people aren't answering the questions, again, if y'all were all saying, oh shit, I heard that Act was with these people who were all having gay sex and blah, blah, blah. Nigga, the first thing I would come out and be like, yo, my name is Akademiks, I'm not gay. I would just instantly address it. Not be cryptic or be like, yo, who started? What the fuck? Dog, just address it. The reason why I believe, and I think Dame Dash is kind of co-signing this, the reason why these motherfuckers is staying silent, I don't think now some of them, even with Meek, right? Meek at this point, I don't think he's gay. I've never thought he was gay. But now I feel like he's been in some freaky situations with Diddy, even if it was heterosexual, that he can't just speak towards, my nigga. If my name was being mentioned with Diddy right now, I'd be like, yo, bro, I've never seen his dick. He never seen my dick. I never fucked a girl around him. I never seen him fuck a girl. I would be very vivid on what the fuck I've ever been around. Yo, hey, I went to one party. I was just there drinking out of this motherfucking big ass wine punch thing. Bro, I wouldn't these people are mad quiet because Diddy has got them girls or got them dudes, and they don't know if maybe and by the way, I would hope most of the activities they did was like probably consensual, and not only consensual, like just not of that level where Diddy's being charged with, but they can't speak out to even clear their name because they don't know what is being considered at this point. They don't want to call notice to themselves. And it goes to show a lot of these guys weren't that sure about the things that were happening at these parties because none of them want to be under the microscope or even just like clear their name. They'd rather just be quiet.
Nuts. Pause. It's, it's so that I can't even
Yo, the nigga got a pause button like just hitting.
remember. It's nuts. And not just for Homeboy, for everybody. So I'm hoping the stuff I'm hearing isn't going to happen. I'm hoping that the stuff I'm hearing isn't true. I don't want anybody to be that dark. I don't want another blow for hip hop. You know? And I'm just trying to figure out, you know, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to know who was at the parties. You know what I'm saying? Like someone was there. You know, I'm not going to even hold you. Like I can't pretend I don't want to know. But I'm saying DiCaprio, and I could tell you stories about that dude later or at another time. But he came out and was like, yo, I don't, he said something. He did say something. His press, whatever they wanted him to say, he had a statement. So I want to know why there's no statement from all these, like the shit they saying is unbelievable. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yo, a part of like his whole thing. I watched his whole like I think it's like a podcast or like really just him talking to camera for like an hour. But it's so funny. Dame Dash is like, yo, he's like, yo, my name is clean because he's like, yo, imagine the guy who's the inventor of pause. Like people accuse me of saying pause too much. Imagine me being involved in any of this. Like nigga, as they wouldn't even want me there. As soon as I got in there and a nigga is coming in the room with his dick out, just jerking it off, pause. Like I would just be saying pause, pause, pause. Like, yo, like they would just be like, get this guy on out of here. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, bro, he's like, yo, I'm a vocal person. So me, like pause comes from me when I see homosexual or homoerotic activity happening. I'm gonna speak up about it. So he's like, they wouldn't have me around. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. Maybe like the reason why Dame Dash is the only guy who could have some association with some of these people, just not speaking out. The rest are quiet.
Pause. And I've never seen, like, my legacy has never been compromised in that way, where people are making, the cartoons. You see, this like dark cartoon that'd be on. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. Just the fact that it's being said, it's the same thing. Like, I'm sure people want to know between me and Homeboy, yo, why are y'all beefing? He's never explained that. He's never said like any of those things. So I just think in this day and age, based on the accusations that happened, not just him, everybody should just, I did. When they said that those parties with me and Aaliyah and Jennifer Lopez, yeah, bro, I was at a party with Aaliyah, Jennifer Lopez is on the pillow, Natani's on the pillow. I'm going to be on that pillow. You know what I'm saying? But not next to no dudes. And then I'm out. But I addressed it. I'm transparent. Like, you could ask me any question. Like, I say no, and you could ask me why I said no and I.
He did make a good point. And then, but he also made the point about Jay-Z, right? He's like, yo, Jay told me the reason he doesn't address it is because he doesn't want to give it light. And then he made the counterpoint by saying, well, with certain things, when you don't address it, like, it just looks even crazier, right? And I kind of agree with him at this point because, yo, if Jay was just like, yo, bro, hey, I don't even think Jay has to necessarily speak on Diddy, but just be like, yo, hey, well, I don't know. So I'm like changing my mind in real time. Because here's the thing. When you're a guy who's a billionaire like Jay, my dude, you addressing this might stoke a fire, right? Let's say Jay has never done nothing weird. let's say he never had no freak offs or nothing. The moment he addresses this, bro, he's a billionaire. Remember what I told you about Diddy at this point? Bro, you have people who have never been intimate with him suing him or plan to sue him just because they're looking at it like, yo, dog, at this point, so many people where there's smoke, there's fire. I could kind of get in there and hopefully get some bread. I think maybe Jay's thinking that, yo, if I say something, you're going to have every girl I fucked. And you got to imagine, Jay was the guy for so long. He's probably fucked hundreds, if not thousands of women. And he settled down with Beyonce. What are those women doing now? They might not be doing that good. They might be like, fuck. Yo, I have a different recollection about our encounter. So maybe that's why. You know what I mean? I guess there's no good reason to explain why people aren't denouncing the behavior or just like explain that they had nothing to do with it, because how much is it really accusations of people who were taken advantage of, or accusations of people who realize it's a easy or sweet spot to let people know that this particular person was into some freaky or kinky shit?
I'll explain it to you. You can challenge me. But at the end of the day, if I'm expecting you to consume the things that I'm doing, my products, I do believe that you deserve a certain degree of honesty. Like, why do we all have to wait? I don't want to wait. Just tell us what happened. Or tell us it didn't happen. Say something. Not just y'all, anyone that's being accused of that shit, bro, because we definitely want to know. The whole world wants to know. But when people start resigning and people start erasing their Twitters, then it just starts to look suspicious, and
That is true.
it makes people ask questions. But I just wish, to be honest,
There we go. Okay. All right. Anyway, back to this video.
Many celebrities will have employees, vendors, associates sign them to keep them from, blabbing to friends or the tabloids about their personal life. Makes sense, right? Because if they do, there are very serious repercussions. If you sign an NDA and you break it, that is not a place you want to be. It is a way to maintain a little bit of privacy if you are a public figure. But here is the question. What if that celebrity's private life involved criminal activity? Would the rules of an NDA force someone to keep quiet? And that is what we're going to get into as we continue the conversation once again.
All right, so they're talking about Diddy's NDAs. Here we go.
Trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. The government alleges that Combs used fear, coercion, blackmail, violence to rule essentially over a criminal enterprise. And while Combs is alleged to have involvement with illegal guns and drugs, the indictment really focuses mostly on his sexual activities or alleged sexual activities, especially so-called freak-offs. Those are the sometimes hours-long sexual performances that prosecutors say women were allegedly forced to participate in with male sex workers, that Combs would sometimes participate, sometimes watch while he pleasured himself, and sometimes film the whole thing. This is what the indictment alleges. Now, currently, Combs is at the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, out in Brooklyn, New York. In a strange twist, he's in the same area of the jail as Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto scammer accused of bilking millions from his FTX clients. Now, one of Combs' lawyers told people that Combs, while he's locked up, he's focused, he's very strong. He's also reportedly been able to be visited by family members while he awaits trial. Mark Agnifilo, lead counsel for Combs, recently revealed that his client does not plan to take a plea bargain. He maintains his innocence, plans to fight back at trial, possibly even going as far as to testify in his own defense. I think I could do a whole episode about whether or not he should do that. Now, as a reminder, New York courts, they don't allow recording devices inside the courtroom, so we won't see or hear any such testimony directly. That's why all of the visuals we have so far of Combs in court really consists of renderings done by courtroom sketch artists. That's probably the best we're going to get. Now, Agnifilo also told TMZ for a new documentary that Combs strongly believes that this is a racially motivated prosecution, that he's being targeted because he is a successful black man. Now, when Combs was indicted in mid-September, Agnifilo released this statement, quote, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. He is an imperfect person, but is not a criminal. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Hey, talking about NDAs, by the way, those can come up in all sorts of litigation, including personal injury lawsuits. So for that, let me call out Morgan & Morgan, our sponsor and America's largest injury law firm. Look, if you should get injured, but now that Combs has been indicted, we're taking another look at them. But first, I should ask, what should we be thinking about when it comes to celebrities and NDAs? It's a little bit different, right?
Usually, NDAs are pretty commonplace with celebrities and high-profile individuals most of the time because they have people within their purview, usually people that they employ, whether it's household staff, assistants, business associates, that they want to keep certain information that those employees might get access to confidential. So a lot of times with NDAs, with high-profile people, we see, provisions like they're prevented from talking about, the celebrity's personal life, maybe their children. In the business side, maybe they're prevented from disclosing things about the celebrity's company, trade secrets, financial information. So they are actually...
As promised. Good old Taxstone. MDC Brooklyn. Oh, he's in the same spot as Diddy. Chat, I want you to remember these two numbers right here, okay? It's highly against the rules of MDC Brooklyn for someone to be incarcerated, tweeting up a storm, threatening big act, talking crazy, having a phone, being on Spaces. So I want to bring a little light to Mr. Taxstone's Twitter. Well, he hasn't tweeted for a while, but I got a memory of an elephant. I check it every day. Says September 23rd. I'm thinking he's going to be out in 10 days or so. Yeah, he's in a hole. That's what happens. Whenever he gets out and he gets another phone and he tweets again, chat, we're going to put it up on screen again. We're going to send the emails. We're going to make sure he realizes you're doing time for killing an innocent man. Hey, every day when I get up, y'all ain't gonna lie, chat. Y'all be so surprised how much I really pay attention to certain shit. I check every nigga who I don't like. I check their Twitter feeds. I put a lot of time into it. So, Taxstone, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what cell phone you put in your booty hole. The next time you put one in there and you finally get some service, you're gonna be back in the hole. I'm gonna make it a point that for the next 35 years, actually, I think you got less than 35. I think it's like 33 now. 33. All right, congrats. 33. No, actually, it's like 30. It's like 30. Next 30. Okay. All right, it's okay. Next 30 years, I'll make sure that when you're on here, and matter of fact, I don't even care you being on here, but I seen you tweet at me. I seen you mention Akademiks, and I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it, because you're an inmate. I'm sorry. The fuck? Talking about be safe, though. Nigga, you're in a cell. Shut the fuck up. All right? Also, I like to shit on the nigga's legacy because for any of y'all bum ass niggas on Twitter that be like, oh no, Tax was the GOAT. What has he done? Nothing. Just went to jail like a fucking idiot. And anytime he tweets from here on afterwards, we're gonna call here. Matter of fact, this ain't the number. So this is the jail number. I'm gonna leak the warden number, like the nigga who runs the shit. You feel me? You call his number when this nigga having dinner with his wife, and just be like, yo, why is Tax Stones tweeting that big act? I promise you, that nigga is going to be, he's gonna be doing burpees and fucking standing. Let me not describe it. It's okay. All right. Chat, don't ask me why I'm like this. I'm sorry, man. I used to like Tax Stone, but when he was bullying the gangster niggas, now Tax Stone don't realize, nigga, you was trying to be us. Haven't y'all realized, nigga, I'm a civilian. Nobody's gonna bully me. You know why? Nigga, if Meek Mill continued with me, nigga, Meek Mill would have been serving a life sentence in jail, nigga, or dead. That's a fact. The fuck, we play by any rules. Civilians is the best way to go. Nigga, I was trying to find a conspiracy or attempted murder charge for me so bad. I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Well, he learned to realize to chill out, but nigga, I don't give a fuck. Nigga, I would testify against all these niggas, man. Put them in jail where they belong. Facts. Anyway. Yeah, and all y'all little Twitter, YouTube niggas, y'all can make a video about that too. Any nigga who I don't like, y'all know I'm a civilian nigga. And that's what I'm saying. This is why Woody's snitching. This is why Charleston White be winning. All y'all thugged out niggas, all y'all do is just go and sit in jail. Like us, we make sure y'all get locked up. We make sure y'all be in a hole. We make sure, yeah, nothing good comes to y'all. All right. What was I even playing? Okay, I was playing some Diddy shit. I'm gonna skip this. I thought they had like NDA details. Oh, they do have NDA details. Never mind. Oh, back to this. Sorry. I was about to skip it. I thought it was boring. Okay, so this is 5 shocking P. Diddy NDA details revealed in court filings. This isn't in the indictment. This is in a civil suit. I can't remember whose civil suit put this up. Let me see. Is this a Jane Doe? This is not a Jane Doe. Oh, they said Little Rod had the NDA.
Any and everything, basically. And then you
Yo, chat, why y'all acting like y'all like surprised by me?
also have language that is trying to extend the person, who's basically prone to the NDA, to not just the person who's signing, but everyone, including, people that might have worked for them, their heirs, which was really shocking to read. So it's a really general NDA, and the term of it, which I know we'll talk about, it tries to extend it for a very long time.
One thing that us lawyers love is a long run-on sentence packed with information. Got to get everything in there. So we want to break one of these down for you. So again, this is from the Jones suit. This is a copy of the alleged Standard Combs NDA that he says he got from a witness. We do not know for sure if this is the real NDA, if this is an NDA that people signed, but assume...
Chat. So let me give you a little context. The majority of people in places you're going to see NDAs. And it's not just you're a freak or you're a creep or you're doing criminal stuff so you think you could silence people. That's not what it is. If you guys never knew, if I brought a guest to Complex had a standard NDA, which means if you see us working on a show, because you're like in the bullpen. Like if you see us working or overhear us working on a show, you can't go back and say it. You can't go back and say our plans. You know what I mean? Like NDAs aren't like, oh, we're doing something bad, don't tell on us. A lot of what NDAs are is just that, hey, listen, you're gonna be seeing privileged things and it shouldn't be used to your benefit. And that should be it, right? So, rappers use NDAs. Beyond rappers, many, not only businesses I just mentioned, like Complex, many people use NDAs to try to minimize this new era of what you see on TikTok. By the way, I have NDAs upstairs. I've had NDAs on a kiosk. So I have like an iPad. If you come to my house, you would sign an NDA. The NDA consists of nothing crazy, which, by the way, some rappers are falsely, they don't know what the real truth about NDAs are. If you're going to do crime, like some people think, oh, I could have you sign an NDA, then have somebody beat the shit out of you and there's an NDA. That's not the case. So NDA doesn't protect anyone from criminal behavior. An NDA is just almost like a legal, you have a legal advantage over someone over them yapping their mouth for the most part. So a non-disclosure, like for say a celebrity, is like, yo, you're not gonna go on the blogs and be like, especially like, say, imagine most of these guys cheating on their girls. You're not gonna go on the blogs and then try to ruin my marriage with what you heard or your experience with me. Now, granted, if there was ever a situation where the police is involved, fuck an NDA. There's no state in America where NDA actually trumps a subpoena or trumps an investigatory inquiry where you're being asked about things that happened either in a house or a place. So I think there are some people who feel like an NDA means someone could never snitch on you. Those people are ill-informed. And this is why, like most NDAs, you should get it from your attorney, because your attorney should explain to you what the fuck it means. So again, NDAs, for anybody who have never signed one or who have never seen one, they are standard in the industry. If you go to Chris Brown's house, they're standard. Now, has there been reports from Chris Brown's house? Yeah. But the NDAs isn't supposed to suppress crime. It's supposed to say, if you came here and we turned up and I snorted some coke or I did A, B, C, and D that isn't being reported to the cops, but you want to go and tell the world that I fucked 30 girls in a orgy and I was snorting coke without the police investigating, you can't do that. So NDAs are pretty kind of standard. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Assuming it is for a minute, assuming this is the real thing, it says, quote, Sean Diddy Combs, aka Puff Daddy's privacy, is highly valued, and all efforts will be made to maintain confidentiality in respect to all information and other material of any kind concerning and or related to directly or indirectly artist and or any person, corporation, or other entity related to or affiliated and or associated with artists personally and professionally, including without limitation family members, relatives, and past or present fiancés, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, business associates, except for information or material publicly and intentionally disclosed by artists. Wow. That is a mouthful. What do you make? What is that even saying?
That is definitely a mouthful, even for a legal document like this. It's, again, really shocking to read something like that. So we have the provision where it says any and all information, which is not typically standard. But then, strangely enough, it doesn't just extend to keeping information confidential about the artist, in this case, Sean Combs, but the person is also agreeing that they can't ever say anything about his business associates, friends, romantic partners, but even past and present. And the past part was really interesting because
I don't know who this person is. I've signed NDAs multiple times. I have NDA. I have an NDA if people come to my residence or around me in certain capacity. They all say that. It says you can't talk about me, my business. Nigga, actually in the NDA, a great lawyer is gonna say if Akademiks has children, which I don't. But like, you can't talk about nothing. Businesses, my mama, my relatives, my kids I don't have, my wife, spouse I don't have. You can't talk about nothing. That's kind of how NDAs are written. You know what I mean? It's kind of written to be an open-ended. Because if someone signs it before you have kids, or if someone signs it before you're married, it then has a loophole once you're married. So they kind of write it in a way where they just kind of carve out everything personal And then they carve out business in the sense of, hey, you speaking on the business is almost trading proprietary things that could hurt the business or, kind of disseminate secrets that could devalue the business. So no.
Without limitation, family members, relatives, and past or present fiancés, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, business associates, except for information or material publicly and intentionally disclosed by artists. Wow.
Yeah, when I went to Dan Bilzerian's house, he got same shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. You go to Young Boy's house, you sign the same thing. You meet his security with the silencers, fucking ray gun, and all of the shit they have. They have like, it's a crazy security. It's really an army the nigga had up there. And before you get up to where Young Boy was at, you got to sign an NDA. That's just what it is. And it says all this shit. You know what I mean?
Artists personally and professionally, including without limitation, family members, relatives, and past or present.
It's not illegal. NDA is not legally binding. I keep telling y'all. So like, it's only to, for example, you won't go to jail for breaking an NDA, but someone could then hold you legally liable, right? Oh, okay, all right, bet. So usually at the end of NDAs, you will say, if you fail to follow A, B, C, and D, you will owe, each offense will be, it'll say a number like $250,000. So it's basically you're signing that if you disagree or if you break these rules, you'll owe $250,000. That's a lot of money.
Fiancés, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, business associates, except for information or material publicly and intentionally disclosed by artists. Wow. That is a mouthful. What is that even saying?
That is definitely a mouthful, even for a legal document like this. It's, again, really shocking to read something like that. So we have the provision where it says any and all information, which is not typically standard. But then, strangely enough, it doesn't just extend to keeping information confidential about the artist, in this case, Sean Combs, but the person is also agreeing that they can't ever say anything about his business associates, friends, romantic partners, but even past and present. And the past part was really interesting because you could have somebody sign this NDA who may not have ever met any of his former romantic partners before, but they're still being bound to maintain confidentiality about this.
Would a court uphold that?
I don't think this NDA would hold up in court for several reasons. I think the language is extremely broad. In an NDA, you have to have some type of designation as to what to keep confidential and how you have to be reasonable in terms of how far it can stretch. So I don't think this would be upheld.
It's also interesting that by signing this, you are also
I think that's cap.
Agreeing that other people.
Again, remember, it will be upheld in a civil sense. Okay. Yo, you went on TikTok and did a story time. The court would so initially, all right, so say someone signs an NDA, right? When someone signs an NDA and they start to break the NDA, oh, act was whatever, they get online or whatever. I hit my lawyer. My lawyer would then, either send a cease and desist quickly, remind them of the NDA, or they would instantly then file a lawsuit and request an injunction. And obviously somebody's making crazy claims, right? Like, yo, I seen A, B, C, D, and E. And by the way, if these are non-criminal things or if these are things that the police have not spoke to them about and they're just saying it publicly, I could push for an injunction and the court, especially when I have this NDA signed, a lot of times they might be like, yo, there's a gag order. You can't tweet about this nigga no more. You can't go back on live about this guy. So until we figure it out. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of what an NDA is for. You know what I mean? Like, at least shut the fuck, like giving you some leverage to shut them the fuck up if they ever try to say something, at least until a certain point. Obviously, if it gets criminal, you can't.
Will be bound by it too. So in the document it says, the term you shall include you, your estate, each corporation and or other business entity in which you have an ownership or beneficial interest, and any and all persons and or entities owned and or controlled by you, and or such businesses, for example, affiliates, employees, officers, directors, managers, accountants, and agents, and all your respective heirs, executors, representatives, administrators, employees, licensees, successors, and assigns. I think they got everybody. I mean, is that have you seen that before?
I have never seen it before. So two things jump out at me with that. The first thing is that it doesn't just extend to, let's say Jones didn't sign the NDA, but anybody within his similar position who might have actually signed it. But then it also extends to any person that could have been employed by the person who signed it, anyone basically belonging to a corporate entity that they owned. So the NDA is being stretched not just to apply to the person who's signing it and Combs, but really any extended employee or business associate of the person signing it, which is really unusual. And then the other thing that jumped out at me is all this language about estate, heirs, successors. That is really an attempt by whoever drafted this to get it to expand to not just during the life of whoever signed it, but to extend also beyond that and have their heirs and estates bound by it, which is really unusual.
Yeah, it's pretty broad, to say the least. And how about this? You mentioned the term. The term of this agreement and duty to keep all information confidential and not use prohibited material shall commence on the first date above and continue for the life of artist plus 20 years or 70 years, whichever is longer. I feel like it's a copyright claim at one point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 70 years.
I don't know why Law and Crime is acting like this. Again, I've just seen a bunch of NDAs. They all say that. Basically, it just carves out a time to, you can't talk about this.
Is typically we see in copyright claims. This was also really shocking to read as well. So again, typically with celebrity NDAs, and a lot of NDAs just generally, the term will usually be for however long the person is either working for the celebrity or having that relationship with the celebrity. Maybe you see instances where the term extends after a year after the person's been employed, maybe while they're trying to get another job. Here, it doesn't just last for the duration of the relationship, but the life of the artist, again, so basically saying however long Combs is alive for, plus decades after. So again, that's something that I've really never seen.
One of the things I'm speculating about is whether this is kind of an emergency NDA, like a Band-Aid. It might not be the standard NDA.
Okay. All right. So we hear basically as an NDA. All right. I think there's another. Was there some more paperwork? No, I don't see it. All right. A little bit more news
in
right
MDC,
here.
they've got air vents that are like throughout the entire building, and it goes from the top floor to the bottom floor. So what he's doing is shouting in the air vents to other inmates. It's almost like a big party line system. At some institutions, you could actually talk to people through the toilets. I kid you not.
I've seen it on TV, so I'm not surprised. Do they keep a log of this stuff, though, and register like what kind of behaviors are happening every day with him?
Well, yeah, they do. Remember, he's not really a federal inmate. He's a U.S. Marshal detainee. And because of that, the U.S. Marshals actually keep a log of his activities. So, yeah, there is a log kept on him, any unusual occurrences, visitors, any type of psychiatric episodes. So they're monitoring him very closely.
Including the talking through the air vents?
Well, I mean, they don't have some cop with their head against the wall, but they know that it's going on. This stuff's been going on for years. So they do know that it's happening, but no, they're not monitoring as far as what he's saying. And the other inmates are probably real happy to talk to them.
I would think so. So the news is that he's off suicide watch, and then there's other talk that he's getting more privileges, like more showers and better food.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's the story. So Diddy's off suicide watch. He's getting a little bit more privilege.
What are you hearing?
Well, while you're in the shoe, you really only get 3 showers a week.
What the fuck? How many times do I shower a week, Chad?
And my understanding from my source says that they're letting him shower almost every day, which could cause some problems with the other inmates as far as jealousy and special privileges. And people in the shoe, they have an abbreviated commissary list. So this list that all the media is showing everywhere, he can buy this, he could buy that, that's BS. It's a special limited commissary list just for the shoe. But apparently some of the staff is sneaking food into him.
Wow. Well, he Diddy after all. So his lawyer told the media, Larry, that he's, quote, focused and very strong, concentrating on his defense and preparing for.
All right, this ain't news, man. Diddy's supposed to get special privileges, man. Sorry. Okay, now let's talk about this. We kind of started off the stream by kind of like touching on it. I started telling you about this whole thing about like, lawyers and shit like that. So it appears that Diddy, and I did look at the I looked at the the paperwork that was filed. There was a lot of paperwork filed today by his legal team. So essentially, he's now trying to get himself released on bond 2 weeks after he was arrested, right? He's building a legal powerhouse to do so. So essentially, he was denied by the magistrate judge. He came back with his district judge. He was denied by that person. Now he's appealing, and he's going to go to, I believe, the second district, or I believe that's what it should be. So he's added 2 more attorneys, which is Anthony Riccio and Alexandra Shapiro. Remember, I always told you, hey, in a case where you're accused of sexual heinous crimes, you want to kind of get a female because it looks better when a female is saying that, yo, this guy is innocent, more than a guy saying, yo, this guy is innocent, right? Obviously, these people, I would imagine, are to try to help bolster up the appeal for his release and not necessarily, oh, you guys are going to defend the entire trial. So he's added 2 people to the legal team. You got to remember, Diddy, he's locked up. Even if he has special privileges, it's still jail. The guy's used to private jets, butlers, chefs, all type of people who are waiting on him at every available whim. So what he's doing now is trying to get out of jail. Now, a lot of people believe that, this is impossible. You offered up $50 million. And you pretty much offered up everything you have, and they don't want to take it. You told them they could monitor you everywhere. They could make sure you don't have a phone. They could make sure no woman comes around you. Make sure blah, 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 and make sure your private jet never comes to the state so it would never fly to Florida. They still are saying no. So I don't know how or what package he could probably offer that would have them say yes, but at least having these new attorneys could try to help brainstorm and try to come up with a new strategy, okay? They said, all right, bet. They're saying Tony, so Anthony, is one of the finest trial lawyers in the country, and Alexander has been called one of the best appellate lawyers. So he's gotten specific lawyers for this. So now that his district judge said no, they're in the appellate system. So there's an appellate court that's going to decide on this. So he's trying to build his own dream team of sorts. And by the way, I agree with this. It's no use of having money if you're not using it. And that one lawyer, Mark Agnafilio, even if, I don't know, maybe he ends up doing a good job, it felt like he was doing everything at once. He was responding to civil suits, ones that he's never seen. He was responding to, of course, a criminal case that he's really enlisted to handle. He was also handling PR. He was doing a lot. So you need, like, if you're Diddy, what's the point of making $1 billion? Hire the best lawyer and everything, right? So when it gets to the appellate court, he's hired a specific appellate lawyer to try to get him out. Now, will it be successful? I mean, who knows if it's going to be successful? But I do believe it's going to be better than what he had before, which is relying on this one lawyer who, I'm not going to say he's incompetent, even though I do think he's incompetent. But clearly, if Diddy's paying him, he must have, Diddy must have like handlers, advisors, or whatever. If you're paying this guy, you must think he was competent. And even if he let everyone down, you hired him with the thought that he was going to be able to handle the job. Okay? Okay. So, yeah. He's got this new legal team, and we're going to see what the fuck happens. Wow. Okay. Cool. All right. So that appears to be the latest. He's switched legal teams. He's 100% trying to make sure he could get out of jail. And I don't really have a thought if he should get out of jail or not. Some people's barometer is that R. Kelly allegedly got bail, and What's the other guy's name? No, what's his name? What's the other guy that got bailed? Name, chat. Sorry, it's fucking slipping me right now. What is it? Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, Weinstein. I'm sorry. So Weinstein had bail, and I guess he's like, here's the problem. Diddy has to do some self-reflection. I don't know how he's thinking or how his mind is working while he's incarcerated, but he has to do some self-reflection. Diddy, the reason why you're not let out, you have a lot of money. They actually want to take your money. They want to hold it. They want to freeze it. You know why? Because them having some control of your asset or having your asset as a guarantor actually helps the state in a sense, because if you are found guilty and you do have to pay back some type of restitution, they have a direct way of saying, even if he can't afford it by that time and he files bankruptcy, we have some of these assets that could generate revenue. The problem with Diddy is that Diddy called these witnesses. He had his people call them, and Diddy got on the phone. And I have to imagine these people either recorded him or the lines were tapped. So Diddy did this essentially to himself. Like, you literally allowed these people to make the point that, you are harassing victims. And if you're harassing victims, who the fuck would want to let you out on bail? So it doesn't matter how much money he has. It's all about the principle and the process of people thinking that if we let him out, he's going to go terrorize the victims, especially the past victims of his case, and that might just create more civil turmoil and unrest. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Wait, why is that playing? No. Okay. Yeah, so again, even with the new lawyers, I don't know if they could beat that burden of proof, but I do think he has a better chance now. Do I think he eventually gets out? Eventually, I do think he does. I just think it's after a couple of months. He could show that, hey, listen, I haven't tried to do any of the bullshit that you guys won't let me out for. I haven't tried to contact any witnesses. I've been in here not doing anything that's like, hurting the process. And eventually, I believe they'll give him some type of bail, but the bail would be like knowing that they could pick him up at any time. So we'll see, man. We will absolutely see. All right. Yo, it's 3:00. Oh my God. Yo, chat, I'm finna get off of this bitch, man. It's 3:00, man. I'm gonna be back on tomorrow early. Yo, oh shit. Never mind. Oh, this is what we're gonna be on back tomorrow for. So actually, I'm gonna tell you exactly when we're gonna be back on. I don't even know I'm this excited. It's not a good thing. So apparently, why is Pluto crying? He should be fucking sleeping. I hear him upstairs. Okay, so the lawyer tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna be back on at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I'm gonna get on an hour before. So 1 p.m. Eastern. So they said 100 victims of Diddy is going to be doing a class action lawsuit against him for sexual exploitation and other things. The law firm, the Busby law firm, is doing a press conference at 1 p.m. Central Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'll get on at 1. So I'll be back on at 1 o'clock, and I'll give y'all like 7-8 hours tomorrow. So if I get on at 1 tomorrow, I'll get off at like 8 or 9. It's okay. So I'll get back on tomorrow at 1. We'll do the press conference. There's probably a couple topics we didn't cover. There's a few like small topics I don't really care to cover right now because it's like 3:00 and it involves, like, for example, like 600 Breezy and shit like that, getting like, some guy saying troll him on like a plane. So we'll get to that tomorrow, but Chat, I'm gonna stream this live, which is the press conference by this Ava Law Group. Again, I want to keep saying, just out of the interest of fairness, I don't know if Diddy's guilty or innocent. I am a bystander and a witness to these allegations, and I'm using my own opinion to try to kind of, try to make sense of them. Whether I think, oh, okay, Diddy, whatever, or I'm like, don't make sense. Just to let you guys know, I don't want you guys to think I'm trying to play defense for him, or I'm insanely biased against him. So that's what it is. So chat, tomorrow we'll be back on at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we at once I'm on for an hour, it will be 2 p.m. Central Time, and that will be the time when we will see this new press conference, and we'll go from there. All right, chat. I do love y'all. I did see a couple of donations. By the way, while you guys are on here, for anyone who's watching, the Academy.shop, please go check it out. Anything you like on there, please make sure you support. So the Academy.shop, but let me see to make sure. Okay. There were some donations. Thank you guys, by the way. Okay, great. Vic wanted me to interview J3, hit a J3. Looked like he's going to be interviewed by Whack 100. Bozo was like, I'm confused. How could Drake sue? We saw him talking to Millie, saw him with a 17-year-old, saw him watch Snow and reading the S trafficking commandments. How would Drake disprove the lyrics? Yeah, again, we confirmed it. Drake said he's not sending a cease and desist in the lawsuit. Just to let you know, a cease and desist could be used in a lawsuit, right? So imagine I'm saying you're doing something to deprave me of my rights, or you're stealing, or you're doing something that's hurting my brand, or whatever the case is. I send you a cease and desist to hopefully hope you could change your behavior without us going to court. Or even if it's some amicable shit, like sometimes cease and desist might say, hey, you have 48 hours to issue an apology, take down that post, and blah, blah. Yeah, that happens, right? That's very much different from a lawsuit. A cease and desist is usually the preemptive step to a lawsuit, okay? Bozo also said a rap beef where you beat your opponent so bad he sues you for damage is crazy. Kendrick is to go. Bozo loves Kendrick, I ain't gonna lie. Queen Jelena Sparks says, I'm a K-Dot stan. If Drake did send a cease and desist, I don't blame him. Performing that I'm a pedophile biggest TV night, as a fan, I would hope he wouldn't perform it. Queen, why would you think he's hired to do the show, though? I think the NFL is in a pickle. I think they're trying to figure out how can we get him to be organic and perform what he needs to perform without our audience, our target audience, and even us being involved, not in a litigation where Drake's going to sue, but we wouldn't want the headlines to walk away from saying Kendrick performed the pedophile anthem. You know what I mean? Or Kendrick called Drake a pet. That wouldn't help the NFL, right? By the way, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate you. Queen says, yo, there's a freako coming from Drake. And he also said this is freak activity. He was talking about she's talking about the whole list with French Montana. Prince Ali Rogers says when K-Dot performed at the Super Bowl in 2022, he censored, and we hate Popo doing all right. Did he? I didn't know that. If he could shit on Drake on that stage but not speak about police brutality, that nigga's a dub. I don't give a fuck.
So as everybody knows, Diddy, aka The Diddler, he has finally been locked up. And it's been crazy ever since. I'm not gonna lie. Now, you feel me, he's in prison, or let me rephrase, jail, on suicide watch. You feel me? That's kind of a crazy life. You go from being a billionaire, mansions all over the world, having freak offs, you feel me, with women and men, you feel me, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Man, even though I do think Diddy is very, 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 very guilty, I want to ask one thing. If what Diddy did is considered sex trafficking, isn't what every high profile entertainer who fly women from Instagram like all over just for sex trafficking as well? Like that's a question I just want to ask. You feel me? Because you gotta call a spade a spade. If Diddy's doing it, then you gotta look at almost every celebrity who does the same thing, or who throws big parties and, you feel me, women pull up and they do crazy freaky stuff at those parties, bro. Like I don't know. So like, and I only asked that because I really sat there and thought to myself like, man, I don't necessarily feel bad for Diddy, and I don't think Diddy is a good person. And I think he probably, when they really investigate deeper into Diddy, they're gonna find way other stuff besides all this freak stuff that he probably did do. Man, this freaky stuff and all the allegations and stuff, like how you see all the executives and stuff stepping down. Diddy is coming, bro. I no Diddy, but Diddy is coming. No Diddy. I think he's gonna expose everyone, and like labels are scared and they're trying to get rid of everyone and everything. If Diddy ends up like the dude, who's that one dude with the island who killed himself? If Diddy ends up like that, we should not sit there and act surprised. You feel me? But it's your boy Big X News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'd say pray for Diddy. Honestly, pray for Diddy, man. He probably needs it right now. He's probably fiending. Probably Meat Mill's on the phone with him, trying to keep him calm. Feel me? He's probably telling Meat Mill, send me some pics over. You feel me? I miss you. I like when you do it like that. But you feel me? It's your boy Big X News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I am out.